Sitting there on that scratchy paper, you know the one, in the doctor's office, I feel my heart start to sink in my chest. This is not going the way I thought it was going to. The blood is rushing so loudly through my ears, I can barely make out what she's saying. Also, this must be what it feels like to be having flashbacks before death, because all of a sudden I'm transported to my cross-country high school state championship. I'm giving it my all, but I don't win it. Then it's me in college on the cross-country running team. And that day that I tore my hamstring and effectively ended my cross-country running career. Then I'm transported to joining the military and trying out for special operations. Guys to my right and left are getting faster, stronger, better. I'm getting weaker, and I eventually fail out. Then I'm transported to more recent things. My wife asking me to grab that thing out of the top shelf, and I can't get on my toes. Or that last time I decided to go for a jog, I barely made it out the front door, let alone down the street. And there's that limp that follows me around everywhere nowadays. And something she says snaps me back to reality. It's bouncing around my brain. I'm pretty sure, if I heard her correctly, she just said, I have about 10 years, give or take a couple either way, of walking left before I need to transition full-time to a wheelchair. It must have been the look on my face. I probably look like a deer in the headlights because she said, Marshall, did you hear what I said? Muscular dystrophy is pretty serious and pretty rare. How are you feeling right now? Quick aside, not feeling great, guys. But the people and pleaser in me jumped into action. Great, no, I'm fine, it's good. I'm so glad I know, finally, right? It was in that moment that she looked at me with compassion and empathy. She said something that sticks with me today. She said, Marshall, it's okay not to be okay right now. As I'm walking out of that doctor's office, punching my wife's phone number in, I start to feel the weight of the diagnosis that I was just given. The moment her voice breaks the line, I break down. From that point, our conversations centered around a lot of things, but they always seemed to go back to what I was going to lose. First and foremost, I was going to lose the use of my leg muscles. Like your muscles, you tear and build back stronger. Mine tear and waste away. That meant no more running, no more hiking, no more walking. Next, I was going to lose my career. You can't be in the military and have muscular dystrophy. They don't mix. That also meant that I was going to lose my home. My wife and I were lucky enough to live in a country, Italy, on the countryside, and that was just a place that we called home for 3 years. And that was going away because I had to go back to the States for medical treatment. Now, more than a job or a house in the countryside or some of the hobbies I liked, I was going to lose some things that were more personal to me. I wasn't going to be able to carry my kids up to bed. I would never walk my future daughter down the aisle at her wedding. My wife and I weren't going to dance in the kitchen or take walks down the beach. Now, I understand that I'm not going to lose those things completely, just going to have a different way of approaching those from now. But all those conversations sent me into a little bit of a life spiral. I compare it a lot to the 5 stages of grief. One, I was pretty pissed off. I lashed out at anyone who got too close. I was bitter, I was nasty. I was also pretty depressed. It's hard to find that motivation, that drive, where I was going to go with my future. Now, I also was in denial. The doctor told me I couldn't go for a run. You better believe I was out there doing 6, 7, 8 miles. Regardless of the consequences, like the next day, or the next week, or if I went hard enough, I could screw up a whole month. Yeah. And then lastly, I'm not proud to admit this, I asked God to give it to someone else. Take this away from me. I'm not the strong one here. Someone else can take care of this. Like, hey, give me my legs back. We won't, no issues there. You give it to someone else. Sad to say, he did not take it away. This all led to my wife one day sitting down with me and telling me, Marshall, I married you for the man in here, not for your physical capabilities, not what your legs look like. She said, Marshall, please get help. Now, I'm a stubborn person, but it resonated. I heard her. And I did. I spent a lot of time in therapy. I dedicated myself to learning more about muscular dystrophy and ableism in this world. I spent a whole semester of grad school, I kid you not. Every paper, presentation, discussion, didn't matter. I'd bring it back to muscular dystrophy. I'd inform everyone. I also found a really great community here at the University of Michigan. The Adaptive Sports and Fitness program has people who are welcoming, warm, kind, and brought me in their fold. I also have a really great wife and loving family who support me through the ups and downs of everything I do. Now, I wish I could tell you, hey, this has a happy ending, there's a cure for muscular dystrophy, Marshall, you're gonna be walking the rest of your life. Not the case. But I have hope that my story and my journey has a greater purpose, and that someone out there, maybe it's you in this room or someone you know, is going through a really difficult time. If that person is you, I want you to hear me when I say, it's okay to not be okay. Thank you.